Hi, it's Cindy. Just wanted to talk about when I had my knees replaced. I've had bone on bone arthritis for a long time, back in the like around 2010. I guess it started, and I was in so much pain. And the doctor just says, I need you to lose weight. It'll make it easier on your legs. I went to physical therapy many, many times. And in about 2013, my left knee was a lot worse than my right knee. So I was getting ready and going through therapy to strengthen my leg to get prepared for surgery. And then my right leg just took a turn for the worse. I was standing outside with my husband at the top of a step garden that he had built, just talking with him. And instead of the way your knee is supposed to bend, my right knee decided to bend backward. And man, was that painful. So off to the doctor I went. And after x-rays and MRIs, she had determined, yes, it's way past where it was and way worse than the left one. So we did the right knee replacement and everything went well. Physical therapy is the most grueling thing for a knee replacement, and it is painful. I remember I had gone into physical therapy and I had this guy, and his assistant was a female. And I started with her, and she was great. She'd bend my leg and she'd say, if you can't take it anymore, just let me know and I'll stop. Well, he decided he knew better than I did and what I could tolerate and what I couldn't, and had me in tears. It was so ridiculously painful. They lay you on your stomach and they bend your leg backward at the knee until they think you can't take it. Little do they know, I have a very high pain tolerance, but that was crazy. So anyway, went through many weeks of physical therapy, and it was all done and everything was good. And I went along my way, went back to work. I was running a retail store at the time. And in 2017, it was time for my left one. It just kept escalating and getting worse. And we tried cortisone shots, and it was a series of three. I forgot what it's called, but it's some injection they put to put this fluid in to replace the cartilage and hope that would help to prolong, if not totally delay or put off the surgery, but nothing was helping. So in 2017 is October, November, I had my left knee replaced. Wasn't at all worried because the right one went so well. Well, I go back for a follow-up visit, and they were supposed to take the staples out, and they had to leave a couple in because there was a spot that wasn't healing. It wasn't closing at all. And this went on, and every visit, it was the same. I wound up going to wound care. Still wasn't closing. It was crazy. Back in the hospital I went in December. Had to have another knee surgery, which they call an IND. It's an incision and drainage. And at that point, I was getting scared because now I can't use my left knee. I could hobble around on it, and that's about it. And it was so painful. And back into physical therapy, more stretching of the leg, and again, not a spot. There was another spot pretty close to the first one that just would not close up. And I went through all the steps, went through wound care. She immobilized, my surgeon immobilized my leg, so I couldn't do any more therapy for a while. She said, we need to figure out something to get this to heal. And nothing was working. So in January of 2018, back into the hospital for another surgery. This time she did another IND, which is incision and drainage, and a poly swap, which is the plastic piece they put in a knee replacement. She swapped that out totally. With the second surgery, she did a test on the spot that wasn't healing and had the labs going to see if there was any infections in there that would prevent it from healing. And everything came back negative. Well, after the third surgery, she told him to let it go for longer, to let it grow, see if there was anything there. And sure enough, I had two infections, two bacteria growing. One was a staph infection, which could have absolutely killed me. And the other one, I can't remember the name. I think it seems like diphtheroid or something like that. But again, the spot wasn't healing. So now I'm really deep into wound care. Had to wear a wound vac for a while. They put a PICC line in my arm. I had to do heavy duty antibiotics for 6 weeks through this line. So I was doing them at home. And once a week I had a nurse coming to the house and trying to flush the line out. It wouldn't do it. But, you know, we got the antibiotics in there. It was vancomycin was the antibiotic. It is one powerful, powerful drug. And then after that regimen was over, then I was on oral antibiotics and dealing with infectious disease office and still wound care, and for like 8 months of oral antibiotics after that. If anybody's gut was tore up, it was mine. I was taking probiotics and I was eating yogurt and I was doing all the things that I knew to do back then. This was all well before I started keto. I think had I known about keto prior to, I may not have had to have either of the surgeries done, but I can't guarantee that. I know there have been some people that I've heard that they were supposed to go in for a knee replacement, started keto, everything healed, everything was good, and they didn't have to get it done. It's a possibility, but like I said, I don't have a clue. I don't know if that's for sure. But I would definitely recommend anybody that is told they need a knee replacement, first lose weight, get rid of the inflammation, see if that helps first. Start a ketogenic way of eating, because it has been a godsend for me since I did start. If you watch any of my past videos, I've been on a ketogenic way of eating since September of 2020. I have dropped a little over 100 pounds, about 120 from my highest weight, but not since starting keto. And no more blood pressure medicines after almost 50 years of being on them. I was pre-diabetic, that I'm not any longer. I feel better than I did 30 years ago, and I'm 65 years old. I wouldn't hesitate telling people that because I feel pretty darn good. So if you know anyone that is being told they need a knee replacement, share this video with them, because like I said, I would definitely recommend anyone, instead of going under the knife and risking infections and some that's so bad that it could really kill you. A staph infection is nothing to play with. And I was miserable for months. The spot finally healed, but I have a little divot right below my left knee. That's my battle wound. And it's like, it's just a part of me. But wow, after I had the issues after the gastric bypass surgery that I've already talked about in a previous video, and then this one went bad, oh man, I can't even imagine being told I have to have any kind of surgery now, because I would be so leery about it. I don't even know that I would go through it. I guess it would depend on what it was, how serious it was, and all that kind of thing. But once you go through something like that, it's just, especially after you had one, and it's the same type of joint they put in, the same surgeon, and I loved her dearly. She was great. And every time she had to do the third one, she felt probably as bad as I did, if not worse, because she felt like she failed somewhere. And it was just some fluke. is all I can say, because I definitely wouldn't even think about it being her. She was fantastic. I had those done in New Hampshire where I lived before I moved here to Kentucky in 21, obviously, 'cause that was a few years before. But I mean, my knees, every once in a while, they get a little stiff. But other than that, I am not bothered by them. I can go up and down stairs without holding on to any railings or anything, which I really conquered at KetoCon because there was quite a few stairs going up to the breakout rooms, and the stairs were wide enough so there would be people on my right, on my left, going up or down, and I'm just going down the middle or coming up in the middle without the railings and any assistance at all. It's like it's the best feeling in the world after you've been through multiple knee surgeries on one knee and come out of it really good, especially after changing the way I ate. Getting that weight off me was the best thing I could have done, of course. I was at 260, almost 270 pounds when I started keto. Prior to that, I had gotten up to almost 300 pounds, I guess. I didn't make it a habit to weigh myself then. I didn't want to see it, but it is what it is. And thank goodness that has all changed. But that's that part of my story. And I've been wanting to tell that for a while. And hopefully this will help somebody who may not have to go through what I did. And they can correct it with their changing the way they eat, getting rid of the inflammation, which is what keto seems to do. And I'm not any healthcare professional of any type. This is just what I went through and what I have heard and what I have read. And and it was an ordeal. One I don't ever want to go through again. One thing I found out after my knees were replaced, I had been having trouble with swelling. If I can get the pictures, I'll include some pictures of how swollen my legs, my feet, and my ankles were. And this went on for a period of time, and went to my doctor, and he sent me for a deep vein ultrasound of both legs. Well, because of the infection, I had developed secondary lymphedema in both of my legs. Because of the surgery, the infections, my left one is worse than my right. I also found out I have primary lymphedema as well, which is, from my understanding, it's congenital, which something I was born with that I would have no idea about had this not all come about. So another reason to try to avoid surgeries at all cost, because this is not fun. I wear compression socks every day, no matter what the temperature is outside. Does not matter, to keep the swelling down. Between that and I take a diuretic, which is a water pill for the edema. I don't want to be wheelchair bound, which some people are that have lymphedema. I'm also going to pull up photos of that I found when I was diagnosed that scared the holy you-know-what out of me. Because I can't imagine being like that at all. So it's pretty frightening. So I'll wear the socks and I'll take the pills. But I also think that this way of eating has helped keep that at bay. I have very little swelling, if any, and that's typically if I don't put my socks on early enough during the day. It'll start swelling a little bit around my ankle, but nothing like they were prior to finding out, because it was horrible. So, I've just been through enough, and I want to try to prevent as much as I can while I can. And I really want to help other people, which is why I started my channel. I know I don't know, I should have had the wherewithal to know better, to take care of myself better than I did. But I still don't think I could have prevented the infections in my knee. The diagnosis of lymphedema, like I said, the primary lymphedema, it was something I must have been born with. They said it is congenital, like I said. Secondary is definitely caused from the surgery and the infections. And it stinks. It really does. But just share the heck out of this with anybody you know that is being told they have to have any type of surgery. If it can be avoided. Oh my gosh. Avoid it. Because this stuff, it can be really bad. And thankfully I think I have found what I need to do to take care of it all. Thanks to my sister Debbie. I love you. And I will see you all soon. But stay strong. Keep moving, because that is totally key for me now. And be safe. And I'll see you soon. Bye.